Where's my coffee? There it is. All right, safety is so imperative to carving. It's not even worth going into why. I mean, preserving your health, you only get one pair of hands, one set of lungs, one set of eyes, one set of ears, and if you compromise those, which is very easy to do as a woodworker, you're likely to regret it in the long run. So let's talk about all the things we can do to protect our faces and our eyes and our so on and so forth, their body parts, right? The first thing, probably the most underrated thing of woodworking protection, ear protection. Okay, these are noise canceling headphones. These are actually not made for woodworking. They're not super industrial, robust, coated in a thick rubber, but they are Sony's. They are, what is the model number? Something 1000 MX3, something to that effect. They're a fairly expensive pair of headphones. You don't need these. A regular pair of earmuffs will do to protect your hearing, and this is crucial. I recommend this because oftentimes I'm using power tools, cutters, you name it, chainsaws, all these tools that have such high decibels that over time, long exposure will cause you to have serious hearing loss. And so wearing headphones of some kind, protection when you're using very loud machinery, it's a must, right? You're not a man, you're not a manlier man by wearing no ear protection whatsoever. It's important to do. And plus, if you get a pair of headset that does noise cancellation, it adds protection, and it also allows you to listen to music while you're working, which is a huge plus for me. The next thing is protecting your lungs, and I've talked about this before, but one of the things I wear most often when I'm in the shop, sanding, even hand sanding, right? Running saws, anything that produces a lot of dust, sanding, clay sculpture, whatever, you name it, sawing, is a 3M brand. This is an N95 mask. It's their Aura, and what's great about this is it unfolds and fits over your face nicely. It's fairly inexpensive on Amazon. I can link that in the description below. It's an affiliate link, but this is super, super good. I wear these, I go through these often. There's a big box of I think 25 or 30 of them, something like that. And it protects your lungs, which again, quality of air is a defined predictor of length of life. So you have to have good quality air. Of course, in the shop, I've got running air purifiers. I made a video about that before if you want to learn how to make those for less than $100. It's not worth spending all that money on crazy fancy dust collection when you can just use a few furnace filters and a box fan for $20 and make yourself something that is equally and verifiably efficient. So beyond that, lung protection is important, but hand protection, right? Many times if you're using a chainsaw, if you're using power tools, or you're using a knife to whittle, say, something in your hand, it's likely that you're going to slip and stab yourself or gouge yourself. And having a pair of leather work gloves can be very, very helpful, at least to have in the shop, if not to wear when you're carving. The problem is with these, you don't have a ton of dexterity with leather gloves, right? A lot of times they're stiff and it's not really super comfortable to wear. Some are better than others. These are actually really nice. I'm not sure of the manufacturer, but they're just really quality, thick and also limber. Let's see, Wells Lamont. These are cowhide, right, of course they are. It's great to have, but an alternative to that that's really pretty decent is Kevlar and fiberglass kitchen gloves. These are good if you're using a whittling knife and you don't want to stab yourself and, well, actually, I shouldn't say that. I mean, slice yourself. Distinction there because these will not protect you from stabs. They will protect you from slices. So Kevlar gloves and knit gloves of any kind, these are not going to protect you from stabs. But they're still worthwhile because they can protect you from a lot of the slices and that pesky visit to the doctor to get yourself stitched up. Now I always joke about getting a pair of chainmail gloves if you really want something that's protective, fully protective. You know, this is relating to those who are using a lot of hand tools, holding things that they're carving into, woodworkers who are carving more than anything else, which is of course what I do. And I talk about chainmail, right? And so as a joke, I picked up a set of chainmail gloves, believe it or not, fishmongers and people that work with seafood and big fillet knives and all that. They hold the seafood in their hands, and so they need something to protect themselves against jabs and slices. This is fairly effective at preventing you from getting totally, filleted open. Really a great option if you're trying to hold a piece of wood. It's a little bit awkward, I will say that. You know, again, I don't really have a lot of experience using this, so I can't verify that it's a lot easier to wear than a leather glove, but just from the simple looks of it, it feels and sits on the hand a lot more ergonomically than a leather glove. And so I think this is a good option. Some of you have commented in previous videos about these kind of mesh metal gloves, and I'm very optimistic about the use of that, and also kind of entertained by the idea of using steel. A steel glove. I don't know why, it just gets me. Chainmail just seems so overkill. And of course, we've talked about it in other videos, but chaps. If you are using power tools, especially chainsaws, right? Most power tools, it's not necessary to have these, but if you're wearing chaps, you're protected from the intense danger of cutting with a chainsaw. These are Husqvarna leg protective garments, as they're called. They're specifically for chainsaw users. So this is an isolated scenario, but if you're working with chainsaws like I am on the regular, especially gas chainsaws, right? These mostly are rated, unless noted otherwise, are rated for gas chainsaws. Electric chainsaws are a whole different thing, but the reality is, if you're using those tools, it's a necessary thing. Another thing to talk about is, this isn't exactly total safety, but a hat, right? If you're in a hot air balloon, they tell you to wear a baseball cap to protect you from your hair from the heat of the flame above your head. But in woodworking, it's less about safety and more just about preventing dust from filling your locks, and also prevents you from having to do your hair, which I think is a big plus. These are some of the elements of safety that I think about almost every day in the shop, and it's worthwhile for you to consider. There are other things, I'm sure, and I'd love for you guys to comment below to create a more thorough and more full example of what it looks like to be safe in the workshop. Oh, one other thing. Do not wear long, flowy clothes. I talked about it in a previous video, but wearing long, flowy clothes, or even worse yet, hoodies with drawstrings. These guys can get sucked into your workbenches. That can be a huge problem, and I've talked about it in other videos at length, so I won't belabor it. Don't wear clothes, long, flowy, thin clothes that can get caught up in a saw and suck you in and cut your hand off, or at least do damage. It's not worth the risk. Anyway, that's that. I hope this was helpful. Please like this video, and if you haven't already subscribed or checked out my online carving school, if wood carving is an area of interest for you, if you're a woodworker looking to get into the kind of fine art side of woodworking, check out my school. It's a full, intense school that displays all of the information about carving tools, wood, and takes you through a beginner kind of basic whittle project oriented situation to advanced projects, kind of like the green man that you're going to see over here. I don't know if you can fully see that, but it's a really advanced kind of project. Stuff like this is outlined in the school, and it's a great resource. Anyway, beyond that, let's put this to an end, and I hope to see you guys soon. Stay blessed, and I appreciate everything. Take your vitamins.